whatever it is, the business, easy questions are preferred, tough questions will be answered. We're going to go back and forth between questions and prizes. So all of you hopefully will have a chance for a prize, and many of you will leave with a prize. And we're just going to take questions, so when you have a question.
Is there any possible way in the future you put up, like the Tops football this year, for the SPs, put in a checklist? Because I've got some now that we don't know which one is which.
But that's the whole fun part about it, is making you search for what this short print is. Usually with the short prints, we'll put out a list a week or two after we've gotten some emails, or just get a little bit of a chase going first. But yes, next week we plan on telling you who the short printed rookies are, and some people who have discovered there are short printed veterans in Tops football this year as well.
But to Clay's point, that is intentional, and while it may be frustrating for you, in total, we think it benefits the business, which collectively we're all in this together, and to have that 10 days of sort of franticness and conspiracy and searching and wondering and community, we think ultimately is best. But at some point, we owe it to collectors, and typically in 10 days or so, they will communicate to the SPs on the products.
What? I love it. It's just knowing, like, I got both of them in front of me,
Yeah.
knowing which one is
Yeah,
which.
and we should and we will do that 10, 14 days after the release.
Now, can you guys, like, in the future, can you tell us, like, the print run of the short prints?
Traditionally we don't. Depends on what the short print is and what the product is. But for Tops football and the Tops brands, the short prints that we have announced, we don't list the number.
Why not?
Like I said, it depends on the brand. Sometimes we don't want to reveal
Why
our
not?
print.
Why not?
What's that?
Why not?
Just don't want to. It's just a choice that we make.
What's the risk?
I think there's pros and cons of announcing that information. I mean, there's pros and cons of announcing on every release what the print run is. To be fair, that number being a mystery has its benefits as a business. If collectors knew the run on everything, sort of the uncertainty would go away. And to be fair, that uncertainty benefits the business, and that uncertainty creates sort of what people collect for. So if on every product we announce print runs and all that information, some of the vagueness of the business, and I don't think that's tricky on our end, would vanish, and I think that's what collectors thrive on and this business thrives on. So I think oftentimes we do, but oftentimes we don't for those reasons.
Print runs and checklists aside, would it not be just a good idea to announce the products on the sell sheet that are actually going to exist instead of having them pop up and just show up? Because some people, like the variants, if you don't announce that there's variants, some people won't even know that there's variants. And so, but at least having on the sell sheet that there will be variants. We're not telling you who, we're not telling you how many, but there will be variants, just to let people know, instead of somebody finding out 14 days later that, oh, I had a variant, didn't know it.
I don't think there's any perfect, but the question was, why don't we announce at least that there'll be variants? And I think sometimes we do, but I also think sometimes, and again, there's no wrong or right answer to this. It's a delicate balance, but I do think for many collectors, that element of unexpected surprise is important. And I think, so what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you as a rule of thumb, we're moving towards completely on card, because that would be unfair. I do think we understand from a collector's perspective the value of on card, and we're collectors as well, and it would be disingenuous for me to tell you that I would rather have a sticker than an on card. We get that, we know what value it unlocks, we know that for collectors it's more special. And I think we've made strides in the last 2 years to move towards on card. So I think you've seen it in baseball. I do think you've seen it in football. I mean, we could argue whether it's just rookies. Certainly rookies logistically is easier for us to pull off. We've done some high-end on card, and I think in total we've made strides. And I could be wrong, but I think more than other manufacturers in the last 2 years, we've made bigger strides. But Then the business reality, and Clay will help me on this, is on-card autographs, as much as we'd love to do everything, they create massive logistical issues, massive cost issues, and massive reaction issues. And as an organization, if we go too far towards on-card, they're going to come with their implications. They're going to come with more redemptions, unfortunately. They're going to come with our inability to get products out on time. So it's a balance. So we know collectors want on-card. We hear it. We're trying to do our best effort to get on-card without disrupting our business and our ability to deliver you guys products on time without, we like to score them too, but I can tell you 5-star, like I'm glad it was a success for all of you. It was a headache. And I don't know, look, we'll take headaches. That's our job. We're here to create great products for you. But I'm not looking for sympathy. That thing was a beast for us to get done. And that's why it ended at the end of the year, because it was a beast.
Another thing to add too on the football stuff is the Players Association blacks out a certain period during the football card season where we're not allowed to get autographs. So it makes it difficult for some products to be on card regardless.
That makes a question. The rookie premiere gives us a perfect venue where all of the rookies are there for us to get cards signed on card. The challenge is, not to get too deep into this and bore you, but the challenge is, that means we have to have all the cards pre-printed, and we have to know the volumes to pre-print those. And oftentimes, those decisions are being made blindly because we ultimately don't know how many we need for each of the next 4 releases, call it. So we try and get as many on cards there as we can, but it's not as if at that shoot we could do on card for the rest of the year because we just wouldn't have those cards ready. We wouldn't know the volumes to have those. But we'd use that as a window with Rising Rookies, with Inception, to get as much as we can signed up front at that. You know, one thing I'd say is I give collectors credit because you guys are crafty and you guys are smart. And every time we think we sort of have a way of hiding things, collectors find new ways of search packing. So part of it is just a game of, mouse and cat and mouse. Because like we think we got it and then they find some new clever little thing and this and that. So part of it, we're always going to be sort of chasing each other. Part of it is, you know, we do make an effort with decoys, with packaging, to minimize that. When we hear things, I don't know if you guys know this, there was a clear package and there were 2 million giveaway code cards in it. And we found out, like, collectors were being crafty and going through the back of it and taking the codes off the back of the cards. And honestly, like, we didn't ever, maybe it's our fault, like, we never anticipated that being an issue. Maybe we should have thought through they could move 3 cards and lift up the plastic. It just wasn't considered. And we need to be more cognizant of that stuff, knowing collectors are looking, or some collectors are. When we found that out, I mean, we learned our lesson and then we put a blank on the back of that. So a lot of it's cat and mouse. You know, I think we've made a big effort. Obviously, there are cost implications, and at the end of the day, it's somewhat a trade-off because if we did everything to minimize that, let's say it costs $1 million, that would mean $1 million less that we could go out and add hits and content to the product. So it's an ongoing balance. I think we've made an effort. I know we've made an effort, and you know, we're going to continue to listen to collectors. When we hear things, we adjust. And we got to continue to get better at minimizing that. I don't know that it will ever be 100%, but I think we've made strides and we got to continue going after it. You know, we don't like fakes. Unfortunately, we also don't have the ability to police, you know, the internet and eBay. I wish we did. I mean, it would require probably another 100 people to 40 staff. So it's hard for us to police it. When things are brought to our attention, typically, you know, we try and look into it. It's hard for us to look into anything. But the 2 things I'll say is, one, up front on our end, we do things clean. So we get our jerseys from clean vendors. We have specific things in place to make sure everything we put in product is legit. And we're committed to that, and I believe that. Separately, there are these people out there who are bad, and they do sneaky things. So we've looked at different ways to temper that. And the challenge we have, again, we're going to be candid with you, the challenge we have is there are possibly systems in place, which we're looking at, but for us to enforce those and to integrate those into our product would cost significant dollars. And again, it's a trade-off. So we could pump in 3 million so that everything was trackable and had an RFD or whatever technology we're looking at. But then as a business, we're like, if we put 3 million in that, we can't advertise and grow the category. We can't make sure that collectors still get 2 hits per box, and it's a business decision.
Or your price goes up.
Or you guys take that 3 million and you see your price go up. So it's tough. You know, we're looking at things to be fair for sure, but right now we haven't found something that makes sense for the business collectively. Why didn't you come up with a better redemption set at the National? Panini's doing something, you know, we should do something bigger and better. So I actually am really happy with our Rapper Redemption Program. I think it's great. We're giving you heritage cards, which are extremely collectible, with rookies that are extremely collectible, and cards that no one else in the world can get. So I think our program is great. And I think having it be 5 Rapper redemptions is great because, you know, I don't want to force people to buy a case of product or a box of product to get a Rapper redemption. To me, that's not the spirit of Rapper redemptions. To me, it's rewarding people who are here and giving them a special card. And I think we're doing that. Could we put football in it? Absolutely. You know what? We really like the heritage idea. And obviously the heritage idea limits us to baseball. But I think next year we should include football. But I think our program's great. And I don't mean to minimize what Panini's doing. You know, I think there's different philosophies of what the Rapper redemption should do. And, you know, we think what we're doing is appropriate. I think next year what we should do is solicit feedback from the customers, because I completely 100% agree with you. And I'm not satisfied. I know Doug is new, and I know that Doug is not satisfied. And if Doug's not satisfied, that means things will change. So I wish I could tell you that you were wrong. I mean, I can't. I agree with you. Our website, you're on, and everyone in this room knows that. Our website, you know, we redid our website, and it looks snazzy, but at the end of the day, I don't care because I want checklists. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. So great, it's flashy and looks nice, but you want to go there and get checklists. We get it. It's unacceptable. I can tell you we're working on it. My hope is that next time I see you in a year, that's fixed, and I think Doug will make sure that's fixed. The diamond giveaways and the football giveaways, you know, you're right. Those should be live when the product hits the street. And I could go through the reasons why they're not, but those are just excuses that you don't want to hear. But, you know, as a company, we need to, when we do these promotions online, which I think are great, and I think collectively collectors love them.
No, when you get them going, they are great.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the way.
But the wait is annoying, and certainly it hurts us because we lose traction, and we need to get to a point where they're synchronized, and I agree with you 100%.